Hello, everybody, and welcome to Happy Easter Sunday Amplifier Room stuff. That's the only introduction I can think of. So, Happy Easter, everybody. Happy Sunday. And as I promised a little while back, I have a very close friend of mine I've known since I was about 16 years old. He's actually somebody that I learned some of the electronic stuff from. And he brought his old Marshall amplifier that he's had since before I met him. He brought his amplifier down here for us to put some new capacitors in it and new tubes and bias it up and maybe do a little tweak mod or whatever. But I believe it's a 1978, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but I think it's a 78, but he's had it since before I met him when I was 16 years old. We'll get Mark out. His name is Mark Porter, and we will get him out here on the video in a little while after we mess with the amplifier and do a little interview and tell the whole story of how this amp came to be and how him and I got to know each other, and is a very interesting person. So just wanted to tell you that, but here it is right here. It's an old Marshall JMP 50 watt, and it was the very first Marshall amp I ever got to play through, and when I was about 17 years old, I guess, and the very first Marshall amp I ever played on a stage. So I'm going to get this thing apart, and I'm going to do a little bit of documenting after I get it apart and see what all's going in inside it, and basically give it a little tune up, and we'll rock it out here a little bit later. I'll plug it into my EV test cabinet down there, or maybe plug it into my basement cabinet, and we'll rock it up and see what's what, and see where we go from there. So welcome to the Sunday video, and more to come when we get a little further on in the amplifier. So see you after a bit. All right, here we are back on the bench with this little Marshall amp. Everybody's out having tacos in the other room, and I'm just going to show you guys this just a little bit. Let me turn some of this stuff off. So I'll bring the camera in here a little bit closer so you can kind of see what's going on. Sorry about leaning it over like that. Here's some of the stuff I'm going to be repairing in here. Is the impedance tap is got some custom stuff done to it that I'm going to undo, and there these caps right here, and there's one underneath the circuit board that I will be replacing, and we're going to go through and replace these two coupling caps, and also we're going to check these grid resistors and make sure they're okay, clean up the pots and all that kind of stuff. But this thing is a piece of history. This is a pre-JCM 800 handmade Marshall circuit board. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with that. So I just wanted to put that on there with my little wiggly camera, and I'll get in here and get this thing apart and start replacing some pieces, and I'll show you guys when I get it done what I've done to it, and we'll be back and do a little bit of a examination on it when we get done, and we'll audio test, and then we'll have a little interview with the owner of the amplifier. So talk to you folks in just a little while. Bye. All right, so here we are in YouTube land. Hello everybody, happy Sunday, happy Easter. We're sitting here with Mark Porter, the owner of this I said it was a 78. We looked it up inside the amplifier. We found date codes for 1979. So this is a 1979 Marshall JMP 50, the predecessor to the JCM 800 amps that AC/DC used. This was what they started out with. We've got her all back together. We've got her all dialed in. We're going to make a little more noise tomorrow. It's late at night right now, and we just want to show you what we've done and give a little demonstration. But this is Mark Porter, like I said, and I have known this gentleman since I was just about, actually it was right at 16 when I got my driver's license. And he is the first person who gave me any electric guitar, lead guitar lessons, and has been one of my closest friends ever since. And we're both obviously from Sonora, California originally. And he's sitting here playing one of my Bauer guitars. But tomorrow we'll have his old Kramer out and do a few things. But Mark, tell us about when you got this amplifier, if you would.
No speak más español.
Yeah. Well, come on, speak up so everybody can hear you.
Okay.
Tell us about this amp.
About this amp? I've had this amp about a long time. I've never blown it up.
Well, you said like about 1980, right?
80, 85 actually.
80, 85, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of like when Van Halen put out that record, I said, I'm going to have to get a better amp.
Yep, you had to get the Van Halen sound. Well,
Yeah.
and when I met you, you had this amp, and we were
Right.
cranking it, man. It was loud. It was way loud.
Yeah, it's always been a really loud amp, man.
And him and his brother were in a band when I met him. His brother playing the drums. It was just like the Van Halen image, the whole bit, and it was very, very cool. But and you worked on you've had a car stereo installation shop. You've worked on radios for the Forestry Service.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in that.
Oh, yeah, I think I got shocked real bad once.
Got shocked.
Yeah.
Fell off the truck.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna quit like that, man. I'm gonna try to.
Well, I know my dad was a nuclear weapons engineer,
Oh,
and,
right.
and you and him used to
Right.
sit around and talk all that,
Right,
and talk about how you guys got into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've always messed around with wires, electricity, and stuff, and I never was afraid to get shocked too bad. You know.
Well, we don't want to do that too much.
Yeah. I got shocked when I was a kid, real young, and I never was too.
He just wanted to keep doing it.
Yeah, I just
Love it.
it was a good high, man.
So back in the day, I used to go and hang out with Mark here in his car stereo shop where he'd build all kinds of custom stuff, and he did real high end stuff. And I used to go hang out with him and learn. And between my dad and Mark, it was the two people that I learned electronics from when I was a teenager. And I've been doing it ever since. And obviously, you've rubbed off on me. So
yeah, I'm an electronic geek, and I had to rub.
had to rub off on me a little bit.
Yeah,
So
I highly disrecommended the whole thing, but he didn't listen to me.
So I ended up moving to Oklahoma, and he ended up moving to Branson, Missouri. So here we are, two California boys living in the middle of the redneck
Midwest,
West,
I call it. Yeah.
and you gotta love it. We both love it out here. It's great place. And I haven't seen this guy. He stopped in Oklahoma City about 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago.
It was 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, you stayed for about 6 or 7 years ago. You stayed for a little while, and then you stopped back
that's
through
right.
again.
Well, that was the
So
last time
it's
I
been
seen
about
you 3 years ago.
3 or 4 years since I've seen you at all.
Right.
And he said, "Hey man, I'm going to come down for Easter." And I said, "You know what?" I said, "Bring your amp. We'll rebuild your amp." So we've been spending the last day and a half messing with this thing and playing around with
We're
this.
already turning gray then, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we already had the gray thing happening, so it's all good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let him pick on this thing just a little bit to give you a demo, and then, like I said, we'll make another video Monday, tomorrow for what it'll really do when we can crank it up in the daytime and play a little bit. But show them what your amp does, Mark. We got this thing dialed in,
Let's see.
and
No vibrato, of course. That you
yeah,
play his guitar.
yeah. Keep playing my redneck guitar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you
So
figured it out.
Trish is sneaking up behind the camera. Everybody say hi, Trish.
Hi,
Hi,
Trish.
Well, the
So what do you
sound is
think,
back.
man?
Yeah,
She's
the sound is
alive.
back. The sound
She's
is
alive.
back.
So we replaced all the filter caps, the coupling caps. We rewired the impedance selector switch so it works properly and won't fall apart. And we rewired the input power and all the grounding and all that kind of stuff for the input power system for the power transformer. So we went through there and redid a whole bunch of stuff on it. The amp, he's taken such good care of this amp. A lot of people really abuse these. Brent. Yeah, a lot of people really abuse these things. But Mark has taken really good care of this amp, so it was a joy to work on this thing. And it is now gone through its doctor visit, and it is top notch. We've got this thing dialed in at, what we have at 46?
Yeah.
We have 40, DC bias is set at 46 volts. And we're pushing like 43, 44 millivolts out of the power tubes.
It's stabilized between two.
Yeah, so it is dialed in exactly right. So tomorrow we're going to plug it into my 62 Bassman cab, and we're going to get behind the drums and the guitar and rock out a little bit. So everybody, I wanted to see my great friend Mark,
Yeah.
lifelong buddy, and it's been a pleasure working on your amplifier. Thank you so much for that. I love stuff like that. A piece of history and another piece of history, huh? I love it. All right, so happy Easter, everybody, and we'll see you soon. We'll put on a little video tomorrow for some jamming, and I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter. See y'all later.
Happy Easter, man.
Yeah.